This shooting, of course, raises a lot of questions about airport security. So let's bring in ABC News aviation consultant Steve Ganyard, who's in Washington. Also with us in studio this morning, the former Dallas police chief and ABC News contributor, Chief David Brown. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dan.
Well, let me get it out to Steve first. Steve, as you know, this shooting happened in the baggage claim area, which is not in the secure part of the airport. So do you think airports now are going to think about expanding the secure zones, and how far do you go with that?
It's a debate that's going to have to be undertaken, Dan. We've done a really good job post 9/11 in preventing complex attacks, of doing things like breaking up cells and keeping people off of airplanes. But public spaces are always going to be vulnerable. If you look at the past few months, the number of attacks by individuals in public spaces show us, just like yesterday did, that people are always going to be vulnerable where you're allowed to gather.
Chief Brown, this question is for you. So we know that Esteban legally checked his gun back in Alaska, but you look at his past. He has a history of mental health issues. His family said that he'd been hallucinating. He'd been undergoing, psychological treatment. He told the FBI that he had voices in his head from ISIS saying that he should join ISIS. So how does a person like this, with that kind of history, even have a gun to begin with?
That is the tough question that we have to find answers to in order to prevent this. Was there a background check was done on him? Did that information regarding his mental illness get shared into the federal database? And did we check that database when he checked that bag with a gun in it? Is the big question that's unanswered. And then from there, how did he possess or purchase a gun in the first place if he had that incident, and whether there's any adjudication of that treatment that he received? So many unanswered questions, but we have to find the answers to those questions so that we can prevent these type of incidents from happening going forward.
Steve, in our final seconds here, what to you from the alleged shooter's background sticks out?
Well, he did have a combat deployment with the Army Guard. He did have service. He was kicked out, essentially, out of the Guard for poor performance, so he was not a model soldier. But he'd been away from the military for almost 3 years. So how did he get to Alaska? Why was he there? And what has happened in that interim since his military service, I think, will be important to investigators.
And Chief Brown, one quick question for you. Who's taking the lead in this investigation right now?
Often, one party or the other will take the lead, whether it's the federal authorities, if there's some indication of terrorism, or if it's a murder investigation, the homicide detectives of that county, of that city. Right now, we're hearing that it's a collaboration, that they're not sure which direction this might go in, since there was some indication that the person was delusional but referenced ISIS. And so there's a collaboration going forward, because you do have 5 people who were killed. So there's clearly a homicide investigation being conducted by the Sheriff's Department there. But I think the FBI is staying plugged in to make sure that if there is a true ISIS connection, even if it's delusional, that they want to be up to speed quicker.
Sure. Makes complete sense. Chief Brown, once again, welcome to the ABC News team.
Thank you,
You're new to us. We really appreciate having you
so
here.
much.
Steve Ganyard, thanks to you as well.